Hello and welcome to the first Curiosity Club video. In these videos we are going to be working together to explore different stories. I'm going to ask you to do lots of thinking, so it would be great if you have a notebook or a curiosity journal, and if you have another person, maybe an adult, maybe a brother or a sister, to talk to about the questions that I ask. If you see any of these symbols, it means that you're going to be needing to use your reading comprehension skills. Let's begin. Okay, let's start by looking at the cover very carefully and taking in as much information as we can. Do you think this is going to be a non-fiction text or a fiction text? And what makes you think that? What type of story do you think it's going to be? Is it going to be a happy story or a sad story? Let's see if you're right. One day in the forest, a young bear cub found something he'd never seen before. What could this strange thing be, he thought. Shyly, he touched it with his stubby paws. Plonk! The strange thing made an awful sound. Okay, we've only read 2 pages there, but what information do we have about this bear? What do we know about him? Pause and have a think. Okay, so yeah, we know that he doesn't know what this is. He's never seen a piano before, so it's unfamiliar to him. So the bear left, but the next day he came back, and the day after that too, and for days and weeks and months and years. Why do you think he kept coming back? I want you to look really carefully at these illustrations. What do you notice? Pause and have a think. Okay, well noticed. You can see that time has passed because of the seasons changing, and you can see bear has gone from being quite small to being quite a big bear, until eventually the sounds that came from the strange thing were beautiful, and the bear had grown big and strong and grisly. When the bear played, he felt so happy. The sound took him away from the forest, and he dreamed of strange and wonderful lands. It wasn't long before the other bears in the forest were drawn to the clearing. Every night, a crowd gathered to listen to the magical melodies coming from the bear and the strange thing. Then, one night, a girl and her father came across the clearing. They told the bear that the strange thing was a piano, and the sounds it made were music. Come to the city with us, they said. There is lots of music there. You can play grand pianos in front of hundreds of people and hear sounds so beautiful they will make your fur stand on end. The bear knew that if he left the forest, the other bears would miss him very much. I would like you to pause and think of 5 feeling words for how Bear is feeling at the moment. Because he's been given an opportunity to go to the city, to play music, to do what he loves to do. But look at the illustration there. He's worried about the other bears as well. Okay, so what did you come up with? Probably feeling worried, anxious, excited, hopeful. He might be feeling quite desperate to go to the city. So lots of feeling words he could have come up with there. But he longed to explore the world beyond the woods, to hear more wonderful music and play better than ever before. And before long, What do you think is going to happen? The bear's name was up in big bright lights in the big bright city. Okay, how is this place, the city, different from Bear's forest? How is it different? What is different about it? Have you ever been to a place like this? A city? How would you describe it? Pause and have a think. He played sold-out concerts in giant theatres. Every night he performed with such passion and such grace to wild applause and standing ovations and huge admiration. Okay, put your finger on your nose if you heard a word that you don't know the meaning of. So let's try and use the illustrations to help us find out what those words mean. So, passion. How do you think he's performing, with which emotion? Such grace. Have you ever heard of the word graceful before? Graceful is an adjective to describe a certain movement, and ballerinas are often called graceful. So doing something with grace means you're doing it very delicately and very beautifully. Wild applause. Now, applause is when an audience claps for you. Wild applause, the adjective wild. Why do you think the author said wild applause? Because they were clapping lots and lots and loudly. Standing ovations and huge admiration. So you can see the audience members are standing up there. A standing ovation is after a performance when the audience stands and claps for you. And huge admiration. Now you can see the crowds of people there standing and clapping for Bear. The root word of admiration is to admire, and that means people who loved Bear and they really enjoyed his performance. The Bear recorded albums that went platinum. He was interviewed for magazines. He won awards. He met new people every day and created headlines everywhere he went. The city was everything he'd hoped it would be, but deep down, something tugged at the Bear's heart. He had fame and awards and all the music in the world, but he missed the forest. He missed his old friends. He missed his home. Okay, again, I would like you to stop and come up with 5 feeling words for how Bear is feeling now. And you remember earlier in the story, Bear had some mixed feelings, and this is another time that Bear has some mixed feelings. So Bear might be quite confused. He might be lonely. And you can see that he's all alone in this big city. He might be feeling a bit stuck because he feels like he's got such an amazing opportunity and that he can't give it up. So lots and lots of confused feelings there for Bear. So the Bear decided to go back. He speedily crossed the river and excitedly bounded into the forest. He couldn't wait to tell his friends about his time in the city. Did you notice the 2 adverbs the author chose to use? Speedily crossed the river and excitedly bound into the forest. So we can see the Bear is very desperate to get back. But when the Bear reached the familiar clearing, it was empty. No piano, no bears, know anything. The bear started to worry that his friends had forgotten him, or that they were angry that he'd left them behind. Then a friend stepped into the clearing. "Hello!" cried the bear. "I'm back! I've missed you so much!" Without saying a word, the grey bear ran back into the forest. "Wait!" called the bear. "I'm sorry I left. Please stop!" But his friend just kept running. The bear stumbled after him, moving deeper and deeper into the forest, until he saw something that made his fur stand on end. I'd like you to predict what you think is going to happen. What is it that made his fur stand on end? For the bear had not been forgotten. His friends weren't angry but proud. The bear realized that no matter where he went or what he did, they would always be there watching from afar. They had even kept the piano safe in the shade, ready for his return. So after the bear had told his friends about his life in the city and the many concerts he had played, he sat down to play once more. This time for the most important audience of all. Okay, what did you think of the story? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Why? I would like you to write a book review for this story. I would like you to share a brief summary of what happened in the story. So a short summary, a little bit like a blurb. So you don't want to ruin the story for everybody, but you want to just give a little bit of information about the characters and the story. What you liked about the story, what you disliked about the story, and how many stars out of 5 you would give it. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this week's Curiosity Club. Make sure you've subscribed and shared with your friends, and be ready for a new story next week. See you then, bye!